Everything in life seemed ordinary, peaceful, perhaps even beautiful, except for what lived in Leon's heart. Leon, a 25-year-old young woman, lived in a modest little house tucked away in an old neighborhood. It was a simple home, no signs of luxury or wealth, but it held something more precious than gold: her mother. She had no siblings, and her father had passed away when she was just a baby. She never knew his voice or touch, only a faded black and white photo that hung quietly on the wall. Her mother was her whole world. She was her parent, her friend, her confidant, her anchor in a harsh and indifferent world. Despite hardship and poverty, her mother's face always carried a warm smile. She laughed not for herself, but to fill her daughter's world with safety and comfort. Leon grew up watching her mother struggle for her sake, sewing her Eid clothes by hand, preparing warm meals with love, and waiting for her after school in the sun, rain, or cold. They lived simply, but their life was full of love. Years passed and Leon graduated from university. She began searching for a job that could finally repay her mother for all her sacrifices. She had promised herself, "One day I'll give her the life she deserves." But fate had other plans. One evening, Leon returned home to find her mother sitting silently, her face pale, breathing labored, pain hidden behind tired eyes. She asked with worry, "Are you okay, Mama?" Her mother smiled faintly and replied, "Just a little tired, my dear. Nothing serious." But it was serious. The fatigue worsened. The coughing became relentless. Sleep grew heavy, like a silent battle against something invisible. After a series of medical tests and anxious days, the diagnosis came like a blow. Cancer, advanced stage. Leon couldn't believe it. How could it be true? Her mother, the strongest person she knew, the woman who carried the weight of the world and never once complained? Thus began the long, painful journey of treatment. The body weakened day by day. Her beautiful face grew pale. The once comforting voice grew faint, barely audible. Leon practically moved into the hospital. She fed her, brushed her hair, massaged her hands, smiled through tears, and whispered strength into her ear. One night, her mother looked into her eyes and whispered, "Don't cry when I go, Leon. I lived my life for you. My death will be a rest, not a sorrow." But Leon wasn't ready. She had never, not even for a second, imagined a life without her mother's presence, her morning prayers, her gentle laughter, her warm embrace. It was a cold winter night. Rain fell gently outside. Leon sat beside her mother's hospital bed, reciting verses of the Quran, holding her hand tightly. Her mother smiled, despite the pain, and in a voice barely louder than breath, said, "Forgive me, my daughter. I leave you nothing of this world, but I've left my heart with you." Then she closed her eyes and never opened them again. Leon let out a cry from the depths of her soul, hugging her mother's lifeless body as if her love could bring her back. But the heart that had loved her more than anything in the world had stopped beating. Leon returned home alone. The silence was suffocating. Every corner of the house whispered her absence. The chair where she sat, the kitchen where she cooked, the prayer rug still spread on the floor. She wandered the rooms like a ghost, searching for what she had lost, for the warmth that had vanished. She didn't eat, she didn't sleep. She would sit all night in her mother's room, hugging her pillow, inhaling her scent, and crying as if her tears could turn back time. One morning, as she was organizing her mother's closet, a small notebook fell from between the clothes. It was her mother's handwriting. She opened it to find, "To my daughter Leon. If you're reading this, then I'm gone. Don't grieve for too long. I am happy with you. You were all I had, and I was proud of you. Be proud of yourself. Continue the journey. Live your life as if I'm watching you every day. I love you, and I always will." She wept for hours. Then, for the first time in weeks, she stood up. She opened the windows. Sunlight poured in, and she decided to begin again.